here asking us about it.
The FedEx man kind of freaked out. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, what's going on in here? This is something big."
It is something.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have a nice conversation here between Xavier and Jermaine. Jermaine is a local creative and art director, also a bit of an art collector, and they met at a gallery and hit it off, and they're working on a documentary on Xavier's work, so he knows all about his background, and we're excited to listen in on this conversation. So I'll let you guys take it away. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you everybody for being here for this interview. I'm Xavier Kelly. Good to see you again, my brother.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
So, I'm a big fan of your work, as are other people, not just myself. It's not exclusive to me. But one of the things that I do love about your work is how expressive you are about your message and what you're imparting, onto us as people that look at your art every day. The question that I have for you is, give me a little background about your creative process. Talk about what that looks like, how you achieve, and what it is that you're trying to impart, and also talk about like the color theory that you have in your pieces as well.
Definitely. I would say just in terms of creative practice and actually time in the studio, it's very, some would call it kind of messy, but it's just because the ideas just kind of flow out organically how they're supposed to. So I work on a lot of paintings at the same time. I'll work on 3 paintings on the floor and have a painting on the wall that I'm working on. And I would just liken my creative practice a lot to kind of how a producer would sample audio information or musical information to reconstruct it and make a new sound or beat,
Yeah.
It's I'm pretty much doing the same thing with visual information, from around the world, or just my culture, heritage, or sports or experiences I've had, or pop culture references that are all just kind of they're all equalized, so
yeah.
they're some academia reference is just as important, and an academic reference might be just as important as a cartoon reference, or a black athletic reference, or a reference to a song. So they're all on the same level of importance that I deem them,
Yeah.
So it's just the flat surface kind of just evens the playing field for all my interests to be expressed in one, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then also speaking about your experience, personally, I know that I discovered that you were an athlete and also a musician.
More of an athlete.
More of an athlete.
Music is just a hobby.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm good at it. But I don't I'm not a musician though.
Yeah.
I'm very much a painter.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just what I think what I'm trying to say is you're more than just a painter.
Right.
The way that you play basketball is form of art.
Yeah.
The way that you listen to music and also make music for yourself.
Yeah.
That's an expression of art. So you're more of you're multi-discipline. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and it's good to hear you talk about all of those art forms and how you express it into your art. So just on the academic piece and the music piece, I see that there are some new pieces here that are hanging up. Which of those pieces have you implemented all those elements into?
Definitely. I would say probably the sun mask piece, which is the headliner for the show, is I would say the most well-rounded, well-versed piece. Not above any other pieces in the show, but just it represents a lot of different narratives I'm trying to express. So one of them being it being on found objects and being put together. That's a layer of meaning in terms of the work you're putting into just making the object you're painting on. And then the collage, and then just the heritage of the Navajo sun bearer carrying the sun across the sky.
Yeah.
So I just changed that to him shooting the sun as a basketball across the sky. So there's like athletic references, sports references, and references to like my heritage and culture, and just like I would say that that piece just represents like a bunch of different layers of meaning, and it's like the newest piece I've made probably so far.
Yeah.
All these pieces. So
Another part that I love about your work that you do is that you incorporate sports, you know, into your art, and it gives it a sense of motion. Can you talk to us a little bit about like how? And
yeah, I
why
would say
you do
like
that?
for me, the feelings of like jumping, because I like long jumped in college and played basketball all before that. Like the feeling of like moving fast and jumping and running is very similar to how I feel when I paint, or like when the feeling I get when like a painting's finished, you know?
Yeah.
So like I would say that just trying to like express to the viewer how it feels for me to play sports is like a really like, it like kind of like when I think about trying to do that when I paint, I kind of get into the flow state, because it's so easy to like recognize the feeling of shooting a jump shot or jumping or running.
Yeah.
That I kind of just try and think about that sometimes when I paint. If I have like a creative block or something, I just like think about some other shit that doesn't really have anything to do directly with painting, but it's like important to me. So like it'll just have me kind of just zone out and just work for the sake of working, not to like accomplish a certain task or idea, you know?
Yeah.
So
Another aspect.
Also, like another thing about sports is like there's no like automatic gratification, you know? So like sports taught me a lot about like you might really show up for workouts at 5 a.m. before school and not play in the game, but you just do that shit because like you're gonna get better at basketball. You know? So like I just kind of try and take that philosophy to painting, because it's like sometimes I'll go to the studio and just like not really know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I just do shit just because I know that like painting is gonna get me better at painting. You know, like shooting a jump shot is gonna just make you better at that. You know, so it's like it's more of like the just like painting to just express what you need to express, and like all the other shit will just take care of itself. You know.
Yeah, and now that we're talking about sports, right? Like when you do your work, it's very individualistic, right? So I think this question might throw you for a loop. So, you know, in sports, it's very team based, right? So do you feel supported? Do you have like a team that you helps you in your art, or is it very like, no, I'm the player, I'm the superstar, I need to do this because I can carry the team?
I mean, like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, because, like, part of me is just, like, I know so, like, clearly what I'm trying to do in art, you know? So, like, not really anybody or one person is gonna, like, take away from or contribute to that so much to where it's gonna make or break me, right? But then the other edge of that is like, you always need help. Like, you know what I'm saying? You always need opportunity, and you always need to make connections. Like, I wouldn't have sold half of the pieces I've sold in my life if I didn't like just meet the right people and have the right people looking out for me, because they believe in my art. You know what I'm saying? So like they want to put me on because they see me going hard for myself. So it's like, it's like, I know that I have the talent to just be the art superstar or whatever, but it's more than that. It's like you want to cultivate like a real, just like cultural impact, you know, and you can't just do that always by just acting like such a superstar and stuff, like, you know, so I want to like be one of the greatest, but not just to say I was one of the greatest, like to have the most cultural impact and like change the art world, because like that's another thing, like the art world needs a lot of change, you know? Because like we all like to think that we live in this like post-racial society and shit, but like I've experienced racism in the gallery world firsthand, like, and it's like, so I know it's pervasive, you know what I'm saying? If I'm experiencing it still, like everybody wants to talk about like, oh, Basquiat in the 80s experienced so much racism. It's like, it's just changed, you know what I'm saying? It's not so like upfront, but the art world just needs change in general. So I feel like not only being an art superstar, but like you have to be a superstar to have the power and influence to change shit. You know what I'm saying? Realistically. So like, you know.
So let's segue into that, because I think that's a very important piece, right, in the art world. what is your view of Black art in, you know, in spaces like these, when they're on display? How is Black art, do you feel, has an impact on others?
Well, I feel like it's just the truth.
Yeah.
Like, not that other art isn't the truth, but just like the Black experience in and of itself is like, we're on the receiving end of all the like messed up things that are a result of racial capitalism, right? So like our perspective is more truthful because it's what's really going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just feel like it's our responsibility to make art that tells the truth, and it's like the responsibility of like establishments to just like really promote that shit and show it and like be unapologetic about it, you know what I'm saying? And like learn about it too, you know? It's like, it's not just Black art, you know? There's like a bunch of different artists who are Black, you know? So it's, my art is about sports and cartoons and things that don't really have anything to do with my race, you know? So like, I'm an artist who is Black, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like until the outside world like starts looking at art through that lens, that instead of just being like, oh, it's a Black artist, oh, I'm going to this show because it's a Black artist, I'm going to this because it's a Black artist, it's like, actually look into what that artist is painting about or making a sculpture about, and like the narratives that they're trying to like extend, you know? So
that's a lot of responsibility to hold as an artist, you know. So my next question is going to go back to what you said about sampling. You know, you're talking about music and how that kind of correlates to art. So, you know, first glance, a lot of people are going to compare you to Basquiat. So how do you handle those comparisons? And how do you take that? And how do you stand out when people say
I think
that?
it's just taking that as like a learning opportunity for the people who are making those comparisons to like really just examine and understand the language of painting that they're referencing or they're like looking at. So like Basquiat was Afro-Indigenous, multiracial, biracial, like urban Black male. So like it's a similar heritage, not just experience, you know what I'm saying? So like it's just being channeled, like that's all ancient lore from our people, just being channeled through the lens of contemporary painting, you know? So it's like, it's deeper than just Basquiat. Like, there's other people who don't even paint, who are just like maybe houseless, or just random people who have like, who understand Basquiat paintings or my paintings, you know, because of their experience in life, not because they know anything about art, you know? So like, I would just say like, I just take it as an honor obviously, but I just try and like separate myself and make myself my own artist, and like, just give them the opportunity to learn about the language of painting that it is. Cause it's like music, it's like, it's the same thing, like there's so much more scrutiny on Black visual artists in terms of what they're quote unquote allowed to paint, right? But you don't see that in the music industry. Like, it's like, you don't say like, you can't use auto-tune because Future uses auto-tune. Or you can't be melodic auto-tune sounding because Young Thug does that. Or like, because there would be no music. So it's just like, it's just art at the end of the day, you know? So it's just like, who can steal and change shit the best and make it their own? You know, it's like, people are comparing it because they've seen a bunch of people actually try to imitate Basquiat, and this is not imitating anything. It's just like it's because we come from similar backgrounds. You know? So,
that's dope. That's really, really dope. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the pieces that are, you know, hanging up right here.
Definitely.
You know, so I would say I'm gonna ask like, which piece do you favorite the most that is here?
I would say like the two big ones. They're all my babies, so like the two big ones probably just because like I love big paintings. It's fun to paint on big paintings. I would say like the sun mask one is the newest, so it's my favorite in terms of like having the most opportunity to look back on my work. You know? But then this one, value scale of an early Etruscan, just like really it just looks good.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so I just feel like they go well together. So
Yeah.
those are probably my two favorite.
So I also want to ask about, there's a lot going on this one. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of references. Can you speak a little bit to us about what this piece means?
Yeah, the piece is basically like, so the Etruscan people I learned about in art history class in college, and they're basically like at the height of their rule between the Egyptian and Roman empires, and they're like in modern day Italy. So the piece represents just a lot of like African influence in the Mediterranean. Obviously, like that's the literal reference, but then it's using that historical lexicon to basically like speak on and have a conversation about just Black influence in culture in the world,
Yeah.
And so just like the autonomy of the Black body,
Yeah.
like there's like references to the natural world and just like sacred animals and like reptiles and birds, and then that the like pyramid and the pencil go together, because like the tip of a pencil, when you zoom in, is kind of like a pyramid, and the pyramid is like one of the greatest acts of creation ever.
Yeah.
So like you use the pencil to create, so it's like a reverse of that.
That's crazy.
So it's just like kind of like rhyming visually,
Yeah.
just like putting like ideas together that kind of make sense when you think about them, and just going off what ideas I have when I'm painting,
Yeah.
So.
Man, these are, like, your pieces are very remarkable. Like, sometimes like even right now, I'm entranced, when I look at your work. So, and me having one of your pieces too. I think another thing that fascinates me about your artwork is, the anatomy of the Black bodies. Like, I love like how it almost looks like we're seeing their skeletal. Can you like talk to us about
Definitely,
that?
yeah. So they're like skeletal and muscular too, because like the Black body goes through so much like, just like scrutiny, I would say, like physical and mentally, so like in society, so and like historically, so like it's like the dichotomy of like beauty and pain, because that's where a lot of like Black art comes from.
Yeah.
So I just say like it's like seeing through the body but looking at their skin at the same time. You know? So it's like you can see through like multiple layers of who that person is, like the physical layer, physical layers, and then the mental layers. And how they all like connect and make it that one person. So, so like there's a lot of like layers. You're not just looking at like a cool mask or like a cool like pattern. It's like it's really the person's body, and like what that pattern in that painting is like specific to what that person or character's feeling in that painting. So
Yo, that one right there is crazy.
Which one?
The yellow one?
How to describe a bird?
Yes. That is like incredible.
So look, it's basically like an abstract bird, right?
Yeah.
So like to paint a poem or to do something, it'd be like to like to run, to jump, to do something abstract. So like it's the top of a basketball bouncing up. But it's a mask too, so it's like just like movement and dribbling and writing and action.
Yeah, that's an incredible piece. And also unique about your pieces too is the state of the subject's face.
Yeah.
Like, can you like talk to us about that?
Definitely, like I just want them to be like, if it was them looking at my face, my eyes, like even if that's not me in the painting, I want it to be like if I was really staring at you. So like, I just feel like it adds like life to that piece when like, or consciousness to that painting, like when they can like look at the painting and it's like, dang, it really looks like the piece is looking at me, or even if it's not that necessarily in the eyes, it's like you can read it through the body or something, or like the hand says something to you because it's positioned in a certain way, or like I just think like I want my paintings to have like consciousness and like really speak to the people who are like looking at them, no matter if they know about art or not. So I just want to be like something you've never seen before.
So also like let's talk about the name, your artist name.
X-ray?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Xavier Raymond.
Yeah.
Like it was given to me at birth. Like
Yeah.
Xavier Raymond Kelly is X-ray.
That's dope.
Like, you know, so I just like it's X-ray vision.
Yeah.
It was like literally given to me before I started painting, you know. So like
Yeah.
I'm just using the vision to paint. It can be whatever.
X-ray vision. I love that, man. You gotta brand that.
Oh, that's the clothing brand.
Yeah.
That's just wait, like X-ray.
Yo, speaking of clothing, it's like
This is like my old brand that I started with my friend, but we don't do that no more.
Oh, okay.
So like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like paint and do sculptures for a little bit and then start X-ray.
Wait, you said sculptures.
Yeah, I got a project I'm working on with a sculpture. So.
Okay. I didn't know you was dabbling in
I'm
there.
I'm dipping and dabbling.
Wow. Okay. So the next show we gonna see a sculpture.
That's probably gonna be like next winter.
Okay,
Let's
man.
say.
Alright.
Because he's a stone woodworker, so it's gonna take a while to like actually make the shit. You know? So yeah, we already know exactly what we're doing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited about that.
So I'm just do that for a little couple years, and then probably do like some fashion
Yeah.
stuff in Paris, runways, and all that, and then just be a creative director, and just help people with shit
Yeah.
creatively, you know. So yeah, I got some plans.
You got some heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's anything that you want to like impart on people that have collected your work, what is the message that you have for them, or is that all embedded in the work that?
I would say it's mostly embedded in the work. Like I'm gonna butcher it trying to speak about it, you know. But like, it's like I would just say that to really just like, okay, like some people who collect my work, this is not all people, right?
Yeah.
But some people are just like a little out of touch, cause you know they're not maybe like from the culture that they're collecting the art from, or they're just so. Some of them have so much money that they just don't live in reality, right? So I would just say I want my work to ground them, you know, and just like give them a perspective of like, this is an Afro-Indigenous perspective on the world, and like, you better get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's gonna look at you every day if you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I just wanted to like inspire them to learn about stuff that they might not know about, or like just do their own research on the world in general. Because that's what I do in my painting, is just research about the world and where I come from. And like that's the best way to learn. It's not when you're just like sitting there trying to do an assignment or something, but like you just go and like figure out shit that you want to know.
Yeah.
You know, or like learn more about what this culture, like watch a YouTube video on how to do this or how to draw this or do that. You know, and just. Like, I just want my work to inspire people to be greater.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you answered my questions remarkably well. So, and those were tough. Those were tough.
Right.
Plans
for the future.
Yeah, plans for the future. You know, like this is incredible. But it just talks a testament of you as like a full body artist. You know. And I'll say like, as artists that are being inspired, there might be some artists here today, right? And we just don't know. They're very humble, right?
Definitely.
So what advice would you give to someone that feels like, when they're starting out, maybe their work is not as renowned or...
Well, I mean, I don't think it's about being renowned or not. I just think it's like, how bad do you want to really be a professional artist? You know what I'm saying? Like, I made the choice when I was 17. I was like, bro, I'm not gonna do this no more. I'm gonna paint and I'm gonna sell my shit.
Yeah.
Like, so like, I just feel like it's like, you can take all the art classes you want, go to all the art school, MFAs and all that, and residencies, but that's never gonna teach you how to like just, really just be a great artist. Like, you have to just know that shit in yourself, you know, and like, fail a bunch. Like, I've failed a lot. Like, and there's times where you have no money. Like, everybody thinks it's like super lit, and they always see you like when you selling art and doing all this shit, but they don't understand that like your livelihood and your money is attached to people who can spend money on it. You know, and the economy and the market. You know, so like those ups and downs, I already been through like 2 of them in the past 5 years of ups, really good ups and really low lows as an artist. And I talked to all my artist friends who paintings are worth way more than me, you know, and they're like, it doesn't matter how much your paintings are worth if your expenses are that high and you're not selling work. You're always gonna be going through an up and a down as an artist, you know. So like, it's just learning the business aspect of being an artist, really, and like really just being on your, like having everything crossed and dotted, you know. Like, so like taxes, just how to sell art, how to like just communicate on your behalf, you know, and like accept no's and not let that get to you. It's like there's way more that goes into being a professional artist than just painting. You know, it's like you really have to be like have the right mentality as a human to like even reach a certain level of success in the arts, because it's so cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? And I am so blessed to be an athlete, because that kind of like is the reason I'm able to sell my art. It's not because of the art. Well, it is. The art's good, but like it's like more like, nah, bro, I'm selling this shit. Like I don't care. Like because it's like that's how I treat basketball. You know, like I'm gonna score on you. So it's like those are one and the same to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I treat my art more like a sport than I do sports. You know, and it's like there's no competition in art, is like what they say, but it's more like the competition is with yourself. Like that's the competition, is like, and it's like it's okay if you want it to be a hobby. That's fine. But then it's like if you don't want it to be a hobby, then there's like layers of shit you're gonna have to do. And people always ask me like, how do I get with the gallery? And it's like, I don't know how you get with the gallery. I know how I got with the gallery. But it's different for everybody. So you just have to like communicate on your behalf and be crazy and just go walk in places and just like, that's how I got with my gallery. Because like I got introduced to them through an artist, colleague, peer, but he didn't follow up. So it's like, what are you gonna do if they don't follow up with you? You're gonna just sit there and wait for an email, or you're gonna go walk in? I walked in and I was like, yo, like this is who I am. This is my bag I painted on. This is my portfolio. And you just have to be like unapologetic, like have no shame about your shit. And just know that your shit is the hardest. Like really, like, in like, cause the world is really like that though. Like the world wants to see, like people, when I started having more confidence in my work, more people bought it, because people with money can see that shit. They can see like, oh nah, he believes in that shit. Like he's gonna do it regardless of whether or not I buy a painting. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when they want to like invest in you, because they're like, oh, the people who bought my art 4 years ago have already made a really good money back on their shit. Like, and so like, imagine another 4 years of going that hard, and another 4 years of going that hard. It's like Kobe. Like you just work harder, and the gap between you and all the other artists just gets way bigger. And then they're gonna tell you shit like, you're oversaturating the market because you paint too much and all this. Like, I'm 23 years old. Like, that's what they say to me. It's like, I'm trying to make as much money as I can. Like, I don't want to like, if I have more supply, then I can create more demand. You know what I'm saying? It's just about like it's a stock. It's just a stock. You know, it's like, it's a stock market.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the insight.
It's like, selling art is really complicated, but it's very like, it's kind of like magic too. You know? It's like, well, you kind of have to like delegate a little, like lose a little bit of control sometimes, and just like leave it up to, just like, I need to sell this painting. Just like, sometimes it should just sell. You know?
Well, I would like to say, like, thank you again for giving me the opportunity to interview you about your craft and your work and your art. So, personally for me, like, I really love how vibrant your work is. It's very beautiful, it's very informative, and it leaves an impact on you as someone that is observing and is paying attention to the information that you're putting down. So I just want to thank you guys, from artist to artist. Thank you very much for creating the art that you do and being, you know, and sharing your vision with us because it is a vulnerable space to be in.
Definitely.
You know, so
Yeah, you definitely put when you make art that's about yourself, not in a bad way, just like when you make it that's like it's like coming from you, you know? It's very like emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not just like that's why I'm charging what I charge for my painting, not because I'm trying to hit a lick. It's like it's because like I really think it's worth 10 times that because it's like my people's pain and culture and love and you know like all that into the painting, which is why people love it so much. If it was like not that, then they would just be like, oh, that's cool. Oh, okay. You know, and I don't ever want people to think about my art like that. I want to say, like, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen. Like, and so if I don't get that, I feel like that's like I did something. I didn't do something right. You know, as the artist. So like it's just.
Well, that's all the time that we have. I appreciate you, Xavier. X-ray.
Nah. Either way, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Enjoy the art.
Yes.
Drinks and food. Hang out.
So inspirational, cousin.